Welcome to another exciting episode of Simon Says Wrestling. And we are here, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to do our Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Smackdown reviews for this week. Obviously, some jam packed happenings going through into the road to WrestleMania. And I just want to address a couple of things that I've been obviously seeing online. It seems like there's a lot of people that are feeling that um, we're not on the road to WrestleMania. It doesn't feel like WrestleMania. But before I address that, just please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe on the channel. Obviously now I've got an Instagram profile, I've got a TikTok profile, and I'm still available on X, all with Simon Says at Simon Says Wrestling. Let's interact, let's get to know each other, and let's talk more wrestling. I think that's the only thing that I can talk about at this point in time. Obviously, with the heat that we've been receiving online, basically with a lot of people feeling that it's not WrestleMania season. I don't know which product you guys are watching, but this definitely feels like WrestleMania season. The only problem that I have with everything that's going on is that people are starting to compare it to previous WrestleManias and how certain WrestleManias were. Um, the build-up was hotter. The build-up was a bit more intense than what we already have. A lot of people complaining about John Cena not doing back and forth promos with Cody Rhodes, and a lot of people just saying that with Roman Reigns not being at the helm of things, it just doesn't feel like WrestleMania season for anyone. But I beg to differ. I beg to differ. It's definitely WrestleMania season. And the other thing that I'm starting to appreciate on a daily, with obviously watching SmackDown and Raw, is that how superstars that were taken as sidekicks to a lot of um, big names have been taken and considered when basically been given screen time. I'm talking about the people like Raquel Rodriguez, who we know as much as she is Liv Morgan's partner, it's mostly Liv that carries most of the stories. But the fact that she got that attention that she got this week on Raw and got her own match against I think it was the Intercontinental Women's Championship. For me, that was like, you know what, we're actually in the season of WrestleMania and we have a lot of eyes glued onto the screen. So why not introduce more talent to the audience? So I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying a lot of wrestlers' work at this point in time. I'm actually looking forward to Damian Priest's and Drew McIntyre's match at WrestleMania, which a lot of people didn't wanna actually. They didn't want Drew McIntyre. I would say I'm one of those people that say that Drew McIntyre actually deserved the title shot, but for the work that these two are putting into this feud, the physicality and obviously the promos back and forth, it's great to see. I'm honestly enjoying the spotlight that's being shown on certain wrestlers that normally wouldn't be getting the spotlight during WrestleMania season. So it's obviously great to see that happening. So we're gonna go through some of these actions. And Monday Night Raw took place in Glasgow, and this was obviously on the 24th of March. Obviously kicking off the show with our usual video packages showing the superstars coming into the building and getting a crowd reaction. It was announced that the women's and the men's Intercontinental Championships were both on the line on that night. And like I said, we adding prestige to certain titles. The Intercontinental Championship growing up for me as someone who's born in the 90s. If you were not World Heavyweight Champion, you were Intercontinental Champion. Those were the two biggest titles in the company. And like I said, Triple H at this point in time is doing a great job adding certain prestige to certain titles. Some is getting right, some is getting wrong, but I believe that he's also getting there where he's taking those titles and making them main event caliber. As we saw, the men's Intercontinental Championship was the main event tonight, which was also great to see. Cena started off the show, and I don't know, guys. Have we checked on Stu, the cameraman? Have we asked Stu how he's feeling about everything that's been going on with John Cena? Because if you remember, Stu is who John Cena interacts with on the camera. So normally when John Cena puts out his never give up, he tells Stu, let's get to work. The crowd is loud tonight. Let's go. And then he dashes to the ring. Stu would be the one following him to the back. So if we can somebody just please get me Stu's social media tags, and I just want to check on how Stu is doing. Obviously, he's more affected by this than all of us. The one thing that I also noticed about John Cena's entrance in this episode of Monday Night Raw, it's similar to how he did it in ECW. Now in ECW there was a match which Cena had to go and face Rob Van Dam, and it was at ECW, and at that time there was a huge, or I wouldn't say hatred, but there was a huge rivalry between ECW and WWE, which at the time I think was still WWF. So when Cena was going into their territory, the hostility that the fans showed John Cena in that moment, and then in that main event that happened with, obviously I think Rob Van Dam won the match of the night. I think it was the first time I had seen a superstar throw out his merch into an audience and the audience throw it back. And there was just middle fingers flying left, right, and center. And if John Cena hadn't turned heel then, I don't think John Cena would have ever turned heel. But here we are, and I think he can use that as a reference point as to how he's been looked down upon and then hated on for just being himself and just trying to live that whole hustle, loyalty, respect. So how he held that never give up, I would say, what do we call it? It's a small towel, it's a mini towel. He held it similarly to how he walked in with the WWE championship, holding it in the similar stance. And it's just great, guys. And I don't think a lot of people realize the crowd work that John Cena has. I don't think a lot of people realize how well this guy knows his audience. And we can say whatever we want to say. We can boo the guy. We can like what he's doing. But honestly speaking, there's no one in 2025 that understands crowd work quite like what John Cena is doing now. And when he says that he has studied us as an audience, I'm honestly starting to believe every single thing that he's saying. I believe that this heel turn has been something that John Cena has been planning for the longest of time now. And at this point in time, this guy is he has us as the WWE universe in the palm of his hand, and he's just working each and every crowd. Everything he says, every little detail that he brings up, he literally gets the reaction that he was hoping he would get at the point in time. And I think the only thing that would surprise him at this point in time would be that people actually cheer him and understand what's going on, but we can't. He's just doing heelish stuff, and it's hard for us WWE fans to appreciate. Well, we can appreciate a good heel, just like I appreciate the work that he's putting in, but it would be not unheard of, but unconventional for a crowd to actually cheer a heel. There have been times where heels have been cheered, but with what John Cena is doing, the choice of words that he's putting on, the promos that he's putting on, and the things that he's choosing to bringing up as to why he is the way he is today, it will make it hard for you not to boo the guy. I mean, at this point in time, he's actually blaming us. And yes, we are a bit to blame here and there. But there are people who I know have supported John Cena through thick and thin. And I don't think he's doing enough work to shine a light on the people that were there for him at those point in time. And he just doesn't give a F about anyone. He just doesn't care anymore. He mentioned the fact that he put a poor kid on blast. And I hope that kid recovers from all of this. I hope he just goes through this and it doesn't haunt him for the rest of his life, or it becomes something positive for him. So John Cena obviously does his crowd work, mentions the fact that he debuted the Spinner Championship and how nobody liked it. But eventually we all, like growing up when John Cena first introduced that Spinner Championship, I think for us it was the coolest thing ever. I think it was one of the coolest things I had ever seen in the longest of time, and I remember always wanting to get one for the fact that it could spin in the middle, and we would always get these belts, these belts, buckle belts that we were with spinners on them, because obviously at the time couldn't afford those WWE spinner belts. But like I said, it was one of the coolest things that had been introduced. But a lot of wrestling purists saw it as a disgrace and as a basically shunning upon the prestige that is WWE Championship. So he mentions that he wants his 17th title. He's taking it home with him, and we're just gonna be left with a replica. Also, this is another reference to a situation that happened between him and CM Punk. Um, it's a match that took place at Money in the Bank. I don't really remember the year. I'll go look it up. But it was a match at Money in the Bank, and it was in Chicago, which is CM Punk's hometown. CM Punk's contract had been coming to an end, and John Cena was the champion at the time, with CM Punk being the number one contender for the title. Obviously, negotiations were held to keep CM Punk onto the company, but Punk wasn't really having it because he felt that he wasn't being treated as fairly as John Cena, and he wasn't being given as much opportunity as John Cena. But at the time, cut the story short, long story short, CM Punk and John Cena have a match. CM Punk wins the match, takes the WWE title. Contract ends at midnight of the night of that match. CM Punk takes the title, walks into the crowd, and walks off into the sunset. Following night on Monday Night Raw, John Cena, I think, he pulled the Hulk Hogan on he pulled the Hulk Hogan on Rey Mysterio. There was a tournament. Rey Mysterio won that tournament, and he became WWE champion. John Cena came to him at the back, challenged him for the title, and he beat Rey Mysterio, obviously winning the replica, because the original had obviously left with Punk, which makes me believe that going forward we might be actually getting a CM Punk and John Cena feud. So it's all the breadcrumbs that John Cena is leaving in all his promos. If you pay attention to what he's saying, he can actually just predict for you how and what happened for him to be the way that he is today. And if you go back to interviews and you go back to online videos, you can actually see why his heel turn is justified. It's in the small details, and this is what I like about what John Cena is doing now. Nothing that he says is for nothing. Everything that he says has a meaning behind it, and if you're a true fan, it's either you're one gonna research it, or two gonna wanna click immediately when he says it, that oh shit, if he says we're gonna be left with a toy belt, this is what happened to him with him and CM Punk. And then obviously people at that point in time, instead of booing CM Punk, and they couldn't have, because CM Punk at the time was fighting for a righteous cause, and then obviously John Cena was viewed as the bad guy, and we never really got, I would say, an explanation as to how he actually felt at the time, and how the fans were cheering for someone who would want to tear down the business that he loved so much. And then obviously it was for a good cause and for change, but we never really understood what was going through John Cena and what he had been going through. So in every video that I make, I will keep asking John Cena, are you okay? Is everything okay? How are you feeling? Because we don't check up on John Cena, and I think that's bad of us as WWE fans. Cody interrupted Cena, and Cena just doesn't care anymore, guys. There was a point where, like I said in one of the videos that I uploaded on TikTok, there was a point where John Cena cared. Like if an opponent came out, he would take the time to then interact and give a back and forth with that individual. John Cena doesn't care now. John Cena is focused on what he wants, and he wants to get that Universal Championship around his waist. He doesn't care for going back and forth with Cody, and he doesn't care for back and forth with promos or having a fight just before that. It's just John Cena not doing what John Cena has made us grow up on, obviously fighting for what he believes in. And at this point in time, whether Cody comes out, Cody belittles him, or Cody wants to mention the fact that he wants to fight the previous Cena, or wants to fight this version of Cena, Cena doesn't care. Cena at this point in time wants his 17th World Championship, and it looks like he's gonna be willing to do anything and everything to get his hands on that. And it's just another segment where John Cena walks out on Cody Rhodes. A lot of people still feel that WWE is protecting Cody Rhodes. They are not protecting Cody Rhodes. It's John Cena's character development. It's John Cena not caring to interact with anyone anymore if it doesn't benefit him or it doesn't do any good towards him. And once again, Cody is left in the middle of the ring. I think it's more question as to what is Cena willing to do? What is he willing to do to win this title? Because we're not getting a lot of um, word or promos from The Rock either, who obviously sold. Well, he took John Cena's soul. So if he took John Cena's soul, The Rock hasn't been appearing much in these promos or hasn't been mentioned between the relation as to how this partnership even began. So I believe that's still gonna happen going forward or in a couple of weeks, even though John Cena is not advertised for a couple of episodes of Monday Night Raw or Friday Night Smackdown. I think it'll only be on the night before WrestleMania and obviously with WrestleMania as well. That also builds into that whole character development for John Cena. John Cena, when we grew up, used to show up for every single Monday Night Raw, Friday Night Smackdown, or it didn't matter whether he was injured or not injured. But now it seems that he has taken that role to such an extent that he doesn't care much for showing up. Will we get social media promos? Probably. He doesn't really post that much on Instagram. He posts a lot, but he doesn't say much. Like he said, he just posts something, and it's up to us as the fans for interpretation as to what he means by that. So obviously it will be great to see, and then obviously if we can get explanation as to how that whole partnership between The Rock and John Cena happened, that would be flipping great. In the next segment, we got the Usos. Obviously, they were going against A Town Down, and given the fact that Jay Uso was supposed to look for a partner, every one of us jumped at the idea that it would be Jimmy. It would be his brother that would get, that would have his back. And I was always wondering with the 8 out down issue, they had always shown friction between Grayson Waller and um, Austin Theory, and they were teasing an Austin Theory baby face run, and there was a lot of friction between the two. I wonder whatever happened to that. Um, and obviously at this point in time we had a tag team match, which obviously the Usos won, and it was great to see them back together. It was so awesome to see them working together and still see that they have that chemistry in the ring. And at this point in time, it seems that Jay, they there was a botch on the previous. I don't like to call it that, but it is what it is. It's a botch. He was trying to get over the top rope and jump onto his opponents on the outside, and obviously tripped. And this week they also played into that with him slipping before he would get his hands on Gunther. So it's great to see that the creative team is tapped in and would have actually made a storyline in between that Jay is actually getting nervous. And I saw a post online which said that Jay Uso was thinking of either getting Cardi B or Sexy Red as his basically accompany him out to the ring. No, no, Jay, we are not doing Sexy Red. We are not doing Cardi B. Either you get the whole Samoan family out there, or I don't know, get someone from the family to accompany you out. It's either Rikishi, get your brother. I don't know who, but let's not do any hip hop acts for now. Let's make the story about you being in a place where the nervousness and the emotions are getting so much that you can't take it anymore, that you have to have someone in your corner to motivate you and tell you that now is the time for you to step up, to do exactly what his twin brother did. So I would rather prefer seeing someone in his family. I don't want to see any hip hop acts. No disrespect to them. They can perform the hip hop acts on the night, but let's keep them out of matches that involve the character development of certain superstars. Obviously, Jimmy Uso is gonna die next week on Raw, because he just slapped the taste out of Gunther's mouth and Gunther's mouth. So I'm thinking Gunther is probably gonna kill Jimmy, and it's gonna piss Jay off. So rest in peace to Jimmy. thanks for him for being an older brother and stepping up for his um, brother. But yeah, he's gonna die. They're gonna kill him, and hopefully that brings out the aggression in Jay so that he's ready for his match at WrestleMania. But I can promise you right now, Jimmy Uso we're going to his funeral, watching Raw next week, and it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. We're gonna see that aggressive, um, straight to the, like, Gunther is a physical wrestler. Gunther is very physical. Yes, his title reign has been lacking, but let's not forget that as much as this is going to be a wake up call for Jey Uso, we are going to see a more aggressive, more ruthless side of Gunther that we haven't seen in a while. I think you're going to get the Gunther of that Intercontinental Championship, and he's just going to kill Jimmy Uso, and I feel so bad. I feel so flipping bad for Jimmy. But he's going to put up a fight. He's going to put up a fight. He's an Uso, but he's probably going to go into WrestleMania in pieces. And obviously, at this point in time, let's just hope. Let's just hope it's not that. It's not a train smash. I'm not in any way looking down on Jimmy, but Gunther can be that opponent that just kills and runs through the opponent. So we'll see what happens on Monday Night Raw. The match has been made official for next week. And we also got Raquel Rodriguez versus Layla Valkyria. So, like I said, I've always had this thing where, why is it that we wait on these, I wouldn't call it, why is it that we wait on these partners to turn on a particular individual that has been hot in the industry for us to take notice? Why don't we give them the spotlight that they deserve? And I love the fact that we got Raquel Rodriguez and Layla Valkyria, and it wasn't Liv Morgan, but instead Raquel. Because, like I've said, Raquel is an extraordinary superstar in the ring. She's not bad on the mic, and it's always great to see them get the TV time aside from having Liv Morgan. Yes, Liv Morgan was ringside, but this was Raquel Rodriguez's moment where she could have became double champ. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I love the fact that we're giving smaller superstars the spotlight in this WrestleMania season. That way you can actually see what they're capable of in the ring and what they can do going forward in the women's division, whether they can either be the main champion one day or they can carry the women's division on their back. And Layla Valkyria, as much as I would like to then go about Raquel Rodriguez. Layla has been actually doing a great job as the Intercontinental Championship. She is what we call a fighting champion, and week after week she puts on matches that are so flippin' nice to watch. She's great in the ring. She's a high flyer, risk taker, so it's always great to see that. And obviously Layla Valkyria retained in this match. But I noticed at the end that we were having a bit of a numbers game where Liv and Raquel attacked Layla. So Bailey came out for the save. So now, is it safe to assume that Bailey might be the perfect opponent for Lyra at WrestleMania, and obviously to defend the Intercontinental Championship? I wouldn't mind seeing that match. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing that match. Obviously, it's Bailey putting on. Well, Lyla's not that unknown anymore. Lyra is in the spotlight now, but it would be great to see a big superstar such as Bailey put over Lyra at obviously Lyra at WrestleMania. So it's gonna be great to see. And we get Pat McAfee, who showed us that he got a kilt for the show. Did anybody notice the knife on his knee and his sock? I don't know. Not on his knee, actually, on his ankle. Did anybody notice that? Hazardous work environments. And we've got the promo for El Grande Americano. Honestly, at some point, I thought this was Ray Phoenix. But it's not Ray Phoenix, because Ray Phoenix obviously has tattoos on his body. This is Chad Gable. And I don't care whether Chad Gable came to work with a doctor's note saying that he couldn't wrestle. This was Chad Gable. And it's just they were giving a brief history as to where El Grande Americano came from, and yeah, it's just you can see that it's information put together by by I don't know by what. But this is Chad Gable. I'm now convinced that this is Chad Gable, given the fact that Ray Phoenix was advertised for Smackdown. But now I'm convinced now more than ever that this is definitely Chad Gable. The other issue that I'm having is obviously the New Day gimmick. Um, their heel run isn't living up to the expectations that I thought it would be at this point in time. Obviously, these guys were heels before, but there were three of them, and with Xavier and Kofi Kingston, it's kind of hard to be heels when the main person that you guys are turning on is not there on a day. It becomes very redundant as to what they do. It's either they go in to the crowd for the sports team that they support, they start going into topics about how they feel, how certain heels are, and then how nobody understands what they're doing. And at least this week, they gave us an idea that they want to go after the WWE Tag Team titles. But the run for me isn't living up to what I thought it would be. And I think I take that because Big E is obviously not involved. The main person that they've actually turned their back against is not there, so it's gonna be a bit hard for them to try and maintain that heelish. Obviously, they can still cheat. Obviously, they can still give off promos where they go after people personally or where they go after crowds, but the gimmick for me is not what I thought it would be. And I think at this point in time, they just need Big E to come in back into the picture. And we don't know the status of his neck injury, so obviously it's gonna be hard to determine when that will be. So I guess for now, what they can do for now is just do what they've been doing, but it seems like it's just happening with the same thing over and over and every week. And like I said, it's hard. It's hard to appreciate what they're doing, given the fact that it's the same thing every single night. And we'll see how they basically weasel their way into a title match. And obviously, in the ring, they knew they are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. It's just that this heel gimmick isn't what I thought it would be at this point in time. And between the two general managers, which is Adam Pearce and Nick Alders seems to be having more of order on his show than what um, Adam Pearce is going through. Because Adam Pearce made it very clear. It's I think Raw is the more chaotic shows out of the two, and he made it clear that obviously with Rhea Ripley having signed on the contract last week, it doesn't make it official. So that was great to see that we're not just gonna put Rhea Ripley in the match because she signed on the contract. And yes, as big as she is, and it's Rhea Ripley, you can't just budge into a contract and then just put your name on it. So it's great to see that that was clarified, and we as fans got more information. And it seems that Bianca for me at this point in time, I given how the story is going now, I wouldn't have preferred her to have won the Elimination Chamber. I would have basically just maybe kept her in the whole Jade Cargill and Naomi story, and then obviously build layers on that, because either way it's gonna affect her, just like Rhea mentioned in the promo tonight. It's gonna affect her, that the fact that two of her closest friends are fighting and she chooses to be focusing on something else instead of trying to help. But I guess we're gonna be going more and more into that as the weeks go, and then how can we just gel her back? Because I would have honestly at this point in time, it's just it always seems like we're just giving the opportunity to Bianca because I don't know, it's Bianca. It's she's main evented WrestleMania before, so we obviously need that traction. On the business side of things, I understand why we would need Bianca in a match at WrestleMania, but it would make more sense for her to be in a match at WrestleMania with Jade and Naomi involved. And I know I've been one of those. It's a triple threat mania. For me, it's a For me, it's gonna be a triple threat mania. I was seeing triple threat matches left, right, and center, and I didn't mind the triple threat matches. But at some point, for me, it doesn't make sense for Bianca to have won the Elimination Chamber, given the fact that she has a story that she was part of and that is still ongoing at this point in time. And I think it would have been a great match either way. And I don't know whether the Naomi is gonna cost Bianca the title, but now we have a match where we have, I think it's gonna be on next week's Raw, and we're obviously gonna have Rhea Ripley getting her rematch against Io Sky. We'll see if she wins the match, and if she can't, what state will that leave her in, and then will she then be going further into trying to inject herself in the match, or will Io Sky retain? Me personally, the way things are going, triple threat matches are the theme of this. So we're just gonna call it triple Mania 41, and it's gonna be a triple threat match, and I don't mind. I just hope Io Sky retains, cause she's the champion. She's the one that's, as much as she's against two big superstars, she's the one that's standing her ground and telling people, I'm the champion in this instance. I'm the one that needs the attention on her. I'm the one that everybody should be trying to go after and take the title after, not people bickering about the old weird beefs that they've been having because somebody was outside of a ring while the match was happening. I don't know. But yeah. And then we also got El Grande Americano versus Dragon Lee. Chad Gable. Chad Gable won. I just also want to shout out CM Punk. I haven't said any of this, but ever since CM Punk has came back to the WWE, he has become a workhorse. He has become a workhorse for every show. It doesn't matter whether he's asked to appear on Smackdown or Raw, he's been showing up, and it's all business. It's all business for CM Punk. He's in it for the money. He made this clear from the first night that he came back, and you just love to see it. I just want to give CM Punk a huge shout out for making it to every show that he has been, and obviously getting the reaction that he's been getting, and then obviously deserves those reactions. In the main event, we had the Intercontinental Championship. Love to see it. Love to see it. It was Braun Breaker versus, let me just check here on the notes. All I know is that the Intercontinental Championship was on the line. Intercontinental Champion. Why didn't I put this in my notes? Oh, Jesus. Intercontinental Championship match. Oh, was it against Penta? I think it was against Penta. Just see, hopefully just hoist up something for me. But the Intercontinental Championship was the main event, and like I said, it's the prestige, it's the fact that these titles are being placed back onto the main event scene. And big shout out to Braun Breaker. Braun is a superhuman. Braun is a super freak. You can ask I Show Speed, he'll tell you about Braun Breaker. And he's been on this run where he's not actually a heel or a baby face. He's just the guy we call them marquee guys. It's a term I think Triple H created. It's the guys that when you put in the match, you're guaranteed to have a great match. So it was obviously against Penta. So no man, I don't think it was against Penta. Was it against Penta? Let me see here. Was it against who? Oh yeah, it was against Penta, but I think Dominic Mysterio and the Judgment Day, because they're trying to recruit Penta into their group, and obviously showing the friction with the decisions that Dominic Mysterio is making to then seem a bit weird to Finn Balor because he's not being included in all of this. And obviously Finn Balor has made it his mission to get that Intercontinental Championship from Braun Breaker. So obviously that we have triple threat situation on that one, where we could be getting Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. For me, as long as the title itself is on the line at Mania, I'm happy for Braun. I'm happy for whoever's gonna be trying to defend. And at this point in time, I feel like it's a bit too soon to be putting the title on Penta. Yes, he is hot. He's a new acquisition on the show, but Braun Breaker's streak at this point in time is the one to watch out for. So obviously we've got another triple threat situation that we might be getting on at WrestleMania, but I don't mind it. I've made peace with the fact that we're gonna be getting a lot of triple threat matches, and by a lot, I mean like but at this point in time, it's gonna be triple threat mania, and I mean, I'm all for it at this point in time, because obviously there's stories added to that. Like, you can put on 6 triple threat matches as long as the stories in those matches make sense and those people in it have a story to basically fight around and then get and try to get to them. So obviously, I don't mind it anymore. The stories have been developing as the weeks are going by, and it's always great to see another solid episode of Monday Night Raw. If you guys really enjoyed Monday Night Raw, just comment below. Just let me know which segment you enjoyed the most, which match you feel that you would rather see at WrestleMania, given all the episodes that we've gotten. And do you feel that Bianca fits into this match, or would she be more suitable with Naomi and Jade Cargill on the Smackdown brand? And obviously that leads us to Friday Night Smackdown. And obviously we started the show with Cody Rhodes. So obviously these European crowds are really enjoying the show. These European crowds they're crazy. They're enjoying the shows to the fullest extent, and it's great to see obviously WWE touring the world. And like I've shouted out the crowds, and I'll say this once again: Triple H, if you wanna ever come down to South Africa, let me know. Can organize a few crowds, organize you FNB Stadium. We can organize you Moses Mabhida. We can even organize you like whatever stadium you need. We can fill it up, and we can be just as loud as these crowds. Um, Remember, it's Simon Says Wrestling. So we're starting off the show with Cody Rhodes just asking the whole crowd, "What do you want to talk about?" This is what we've known him for. This is how he always starts his segment. This is basically what's on the crowd's mind, and what would he like for the crowd to basically just um, talk about. Obviously, the crowd starts chanting John Cena's name, and like I said, whether it's because of Cody or whether it's because of Cena, John Cena has studied these crowds in and out, and then he knows what he's coming for, and he knows what he's going for in this instance. Um, Randy came out obviously to speak to Cody Rhodes, and given the history that they have, that given that Cody Rhodes coming into the business was under the mentorship of Randy Orton, and they had a group with Ted DiBiase called Legacy. And if you do not know of Legacy, think about 3 delinquents on the run who have what Drew McIntyre described as Nepo babies. Legacy was a menace to the roster. If you get the time, just go back and check out the Legacy videos. Obviously, Randy Orton came out to just acknowledge the amount of work that Cody Rhodes has put in ever since he had came into the business, and it's you'd be crazy not to acknowledge the fact that Cody Rhodes has done a lot for the company, and he has carried the company on his back ever since winning the Universal Championship. And he's been put into that position because I think at the time Triple H could see that he has the potential to carry the company, and he's been doing great work as the champion, one of the biggest baby faces in the company. And it's always great to see that, you know what, the hard work eventually paid off. The hard work eventually paid off. And out came Drew McIntyre, who obviously interrupted the whole segment between Randy and Cody, and he just basically spitting facts. Why do we not give Drew McIntyre the props that he deserves for spitting facts, for telling the truth on a daily basis? As delusional as Drew is, don't let the delusion dilute the fact that this guy is actually telling the truth on every single night that he's out there. He, he could do less off of the insults and obviously being personal with a lot of people and just picking fights wherever he feels like it. So for me, it's just great. He comes out, he calls them a bunch of nipple babies. And then obviously this sets up a match between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre later in the night. The Street Profits came out to their theme song. Yeah, the less I speak about theme songs, that I think the better. Like at this point in time, these theme songs, flip. Anyway, they were in a match against Pretty Deadly. The other thing that I just wanted clarity on is are the Street Profits now baby faces or heels? What's the story though? Are they just you know in between? Obviously, it was great to see Pretty Deadly getting the reception that they got, given the fact that they are in their hometowns, and it was so awesome to see them get cheered on, and you could see the smiles on their faces, obviously coming back home. Um, the Street Profits won this match and retained the titles. Pretty Deadly lost, unfortunately. So now we have to then build up with that. I think it's what 3 weeks now in before WrestleMania, and we have to then just maybe find out the fact who are gonna be the opponents for the Street Profits going into Mania. Because obviously, I think they are gonna carry those titles into Mania, given their new attitude, and given how now it's all about business. There is no more time for all that crowd pleasing stuff. Now it's show up, win the match, collect the check, head out. And the other thing, like I said, I'm gonna keep repeating this because I just love seeing things like this. We had Kaden Carter and Katana Chance versus the Secret Services. The Secret Services to obviously Chelsea Green, which was Alba Fire and Piper Niven. The champion is outside, and the two people who always ensure that she wins the matches are getting the spotlight in that road, WrestleMania route. Excuse me. So it's gonna be it means so much to me for the fact that they are putting a spotlight on superstars such as Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. And if you get like a chance, just watch the old NXT footages where they were the women's tag team champions. And for the fact that they're getting this TV time in WrestleMania season on Smackdown, I can't imagine how much this means to them. But for me to see it happening, and then for the fact that Triple H and the creative and management is actually saying, you know what, let's fill up these shows with people that we haven't actually been putting on. Yes, they've gotten certain matches, but you have to understand that now the product is actually getting hotter going into WrestleMania. If you're a superstar and you're introduced during this period, and there's a lot of eyes on you, there's a lot of people that are gonna go, oh, okay, I've actually seen her in the ring. She's a tag team partner to who and who, and they actually put on a great match. And this was a great match. This was Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, and you could see the chemistry that they have. They had a great tag team duo. Alba Fire and Piper Niven, don't even get me started. They've been doing a great job as the Secret Services. And in this instance, you could see Chelsea Green helping them to win. So obviously now it's not just that whole parasitic relationship. It's actually now symbiotic, where Piper and Alba Fire are helping Chelsea Green to retain, and Chelsea Green is helping Alba Fire and Piper Niven to win matches. So could we then have a faction such as Chelsea Green and the Secret Services all holding titles going into maybe after WrestleMania or at WrestleMania? It would be great to see, and it's so awesome for me to see talent such as Kaden Carter and Katana Chance getting the spotlight and getting the TV time during this hot season going into WrestleMania. So as much as people would want to be critic and asking why the hell are we getting these women in matches, why the hell are they getting TV time, we actually building superstars going forward. This is the plan. The more eyes that are fixed on SmackDown going into WrestleMania, the more exposure you can get these people to. And obviously, with the crowd, it's obviously going to get bigger and bigger for them. And for me, this was a great showcase to show that they have awesome talent on the roster. There are women that can challenge for the tag team championships or the single championships. And it's always great to see great talent from NXT being brought to the main roster and then obviously highlighted during WrestleMania season. For me, that means a lot. I don't know how I can explain it, but it just means so much that superstars who obviously we know of are getting the spotlight that they deserve. I don't know how to explain it, but it just makes me so happy to see such women getting the spotlight going into WrestleMania. And then obviously we had our LA Knight, Piper Niven and Alba Fire won the match, by the way. Obviously with interference from Chelsea Green. LA Knight versus Braun Strowman. This was obviously from last week where it was given that Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu, the winner would be then facing the United States Championship. Another thing that makes sense. We're having matches that actually mean something, that actually either progress the story or are giving us new challenges to championships. For me, that's always great to see. But how many times are we going to have Jacob Fatu come in and try to kill Braun Strowman when we can actually just separate the two? It would be a great it would be a great match to see at Mania. But I think for the purpose of having that attraction and having that uproar, it would actually make more sense to have Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight for the United States Championship. Who wins? I don't know, but we'll see it going forward. And then obviously, I also noticed that so obviously that match ended in a disqualification, and LA Knight retained. Well, he didn't retain, so it was actually so if oh yeah, no. Jacob Fatu attacked Braun Strowman. So Braun Strowman won the match, but LA Knight retains because he wasn't in any way pinned on the match. I also noticed another small detail which I've been saying for the longest of time. We need to put Melo with an experienced wrestler who can show him the ropes and try to obviously uplift him going forward. And I see he's been hanging around with the Miz. And I love to see this. Like I've said before, Miz, I don't think is at a point in his career where he wants to. Well, he obviously, given the chance, he would go bigger. He would go for a title. He would go for WrestleMania main event matches, yes. But now I think he's more interested in uplifting younger talent. For me, the Miz in his prime was the most cocky human being that you would ever find. Did anything to retain his title, and given like what I growing up was watching, Miz actually make the Intercontinental Championship mean something at some point. He was giving out promos and he was giving out work in the ring that no one had ever been given in a while. So for me to see Miz and Melo being paired together, for me that means a lot. So obviously the Miz can try and rub off some of his experience off of Melo, and then we can obviously get Melo to a point where he's been like exposed and been shown the ropes as how to be a bigger superstar than what he already is. So it will be great to see that. But there's still that comedic element which they're still putting into that whole the Miz and Melo haze. And this is the part of the show where I'm gonna give props where they do. I'm gonna give Naomi the props that she deserves. This heel persona that she has taken on now, this might be some of her best work. Hear me out. She is killing this, and the fact that she's wearing the tape around her, which is written caution, and still ends off promos with saying you should approach with caution. My man, at this point in time, just give her the title. Just give her the title. Like at this point in time, just give Naomi whatever she wants. If she wants to win the tag team titles alone, give it to her. If she wants to win the Intercontinental Championship alone, give it to her. If she wants to win the United States Championship, give it to her. I'm loving this, Naomi. I'm loving the fact that a lot of baby faces that we grew up on at this point in time are starting to become what we have always suspected them to be. Now, given the fact that you can be a baby face for the longest of time, there's no way you can end off your career being a baby. You can't come in a baby face and then just go out as a baby face. And when some of these WWE superstars take on heel personas. It's some of their best work that you could ever see. And Naomi, for me, is one of the female wrestlers that, for me now, with this heel persona, she's taken it seriously, and it's some of the best work that she's given. She's handing out beatings to everyone. Her hands are rated E for everyone. Michin and BFAB just actually mentioned her name and said that they talked dirty about Naomi. And as far as we know, during the show, Naomi hadn't been there because no one had heard from her. And then just before the match with Charlotte Flair, here comes out Naomi just beating everyone up, just just throwing hands, guys. She was jumping. It was on site. Like, when I think now when WWE means on site, they mean on site. So obviously we had a match with Mitch and Charlotte Flair, and yeah, Charlotte Flair won the match. Um, I don't wanna come off as a Charlotte Flair hater, nor do I wanna come off as another person that just doesn't feel that Charlotte Flair deserves what she's getting. Yeah, I don't know. Some she's not moving me in that instance where I'm like, ooh, I'm excited to see this match. I'm more excited to see what Tiffy does in this match. Obviously, Charlotte Flair is a great wrestler. Charlotte Flair is one of the legends, one of the four horsewomen that obviously paved the way for these ladies to have the spotlight that they are having today. And obviously, she came out to a wounded Michin and then won the match. Tiffany Stratton, for me, as a babyface, is it's not working for me. It just comes off as of some. It just comes off weird for me. But I could see glimpses of the old Tiffany Stratton when she was giving the promo explaining the fact that she has nothing to lose. If she loses to Charlotte Flair. But if Charlotte Flair loses to her, obviously using the description that Charlotte has used to basically describe what she felt Tiffy was, it added a bit more spice to it. But it's still, yeah, we're here. And obviously I'm gonna watch the match. It's gonna be great to watch. But yeah, let's just see who wins it and what's next for Tiffy after this whole thing. We've been getting a lot of vignettes as of late. This week we got a one with Smoke and a number. And any predictions? Who do you guys think these vignettes are for? Personally, I think it's for Aleister Black. I think Aleister Black might be coming back to the WWE. Just comment below who you think the vignettes are for, who the Smoke vignettes are coming, and then who's obviously coming to Friday night Smackdown. It looks at this point in time, and obviously we got the Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton match. Two big men, two big men, a lot of meat touching each other. Just a lot of meaty men touching each other. Obviously a great match, but Drew McIntyre won this one because of the assist from Kevin Owens. He just basically came out and distracted Randy Orton while he was about to give the RKO. Uh, Drew hit the Claymore and then won the match 1, 2, 3. Then obviously Kevin Owens tried to go for the pile driver on the table with Randy, and then Randy obviously was able to get out of that one. And something clicked during that whole segment for me. We're never gonna get 2009 Randy Orton back. We're never gonna get 2009 Randy Orton back, because with 2009 Randy Orton, he didn't tell you what he was gonna do. Not even he knew what he was gonna do at this point in time. Yes, he's trying to tap into that whole thing, but Randy has gone into his babyface prime, and he's just in his babyface back. He's enjoying getting the time that he's getting on the show, and it's sad, but I would have loved for this generation too. But there's always YouTube videos, and there's always videos online where you can just go back and relive what 2009 Randy Orton was. And like I said, if they're gonna show him in this era of I know what do we call it, wrestling. he was gonna get cancelled. He was gonna get cancelled immediately, and he would be charged with he, he would be charged with murder at this point in time. If you see what 2009 Randy Orton was up to, you wouldn't even believe that it's the same guy that we see today. And obviously now it's official. We've known this for the longest of time that Owens would be going one-on-one with Randy Orton, and he cut an impressive promo just after that match where he says he can't wait to kick the head off of Kevin Owens out of the building. So it'll be interesting to see Punt versus Power Driver. Ray Phoenix is advertised for Smackdown, another acquisition that WWE has got, another high flyer, another luchador. Chad Gable's not gonna like this. Chad Gable is not gonna like this. And we also got The Miz versus Jimmy Uso. Now Jimmy Uso at this point in time is also getting into that role where he's supporting his brother and he's trying to get his brother fired up for his match at WrestleMania, given the fact that it's gonna be one of his biggest matches ever in his career. It's gonna be great to see. It's gonna be great to see, and obviously Jimmy Uso getting the momentum that he needs, winning the match with the Uso Splash. And unfortunately, Drew McIntyre was getting ready for a night out, have some nice drinks with some nice, well-known people, until Damian Priest. Damian Priest came and attacked him at the back, and guys, if you're not excited for this match, I don't know what your problem is. I honestly don't know what your problem is. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest need a stipulation in this match. It's either no holds bar or a hardcore match, but I just need to see these guys going at it, and it's going to be a great match with obviously two great in-ring competitors. It's going to be awesome to watch. It's going to be a great WrestleMania. I can guarantee you that it's going to be a great match. And obviously we got the segment that everyone's been waiting for at this point in time, which is CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. Obviously all tied in together, given the fact that we've got a story between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, obviously explained in the first line of that intro. Roman Reigns, I think in the story, is acting more as the guy that built everything that these guys are working on. He's basically saying that I'm the one that created everything. I'm the one that took this business to where it is today. With Seth Rollins obviously seeing it in another way, saying that it's that mentality that always makes me want to shut you down and then just keep popping the balloons for you. And obviously they are linked together, given the fact that even with the building that they were in is where the Shield had landed in a helicopter, and then obviously Seth Rollins making that evidently clear, and then obviously mentioning it. Seth Rollins just hates CM Punk. Seth Rollins, when he hates you, he hates you. You can ask Edge. Edge will tell you that when Seth Rollins hates you, he hates you. This man is the biggest crash out that I've ever seen. He just goes crazy when Seth Rollins is not afraid to tell you that I hate you and I hope you die. And Seth Rollins has never been one to shy away to tell a person that he hates them. Ask Edge. Like I said, ask Edge. He will tell you. He screamed die to CM Punk in the Elimination Chamber, which is crazy. But yeah, we're at a point where we're in an era where CM Punk is going to be a main event in WrestleMania. And as a wrestling fan, that means every single flipping thing. If you followed from the day that CM Punk came into the business and where he is today and what he's accomplished, you understand that it means the world to us as his fans and obviously as him. So it's great to see this, and it's great. It's going to be an awesome triple threat match between the three. Who wins? I don't know. I'm just there for the vibes. I'm just there for the vibes and the story that's going to take place after that. And given the fact that CM Punk has mentioned the fact that him being in the main event was not the favor. What is the favor? What are we doing? What is Paul Heyman promising CM Punk that we don't know about? And when Roman Reigns actually told CM Punk, you need to acknowledge me, you could see when CM Punk was about to then address this whole issue, Paul Heyman was like, don't. So it makes you wonder. It's the small details that we pick up online. It's also something that a lot of people have picked up on, and it would be great to see as to what are we doing going forward with this favor? And it's so awesome to see that small things such as favors and small distinctions like that in Triple H's storytelling becomes a storyline. So it will be great to see. And obviously, I'm just excited for WrestleMania. I'm totally locked in, and obviously, I'm just gonna try to do a couple of lives on TikTok, on Instagram, just to interact with everyone. Just guys, let me know what are your predictions for WrestleMania. Which matches are you looking forward to? Who would you like to see? Because obviously every year we get legends popping up. Which legend would you like to see this year? Obviously the Hall of Fame is also taking place the night before WrestleMania. It's gonna be interesting to see who else is gonna be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think Bret Hart was announced as an inductee to the Hall of Fame, which then makes him the only person to be inducted into the Hall of Fame 3 times. So big ups to Bret Hart, the best there ever was, the best there ever will be, and the best there is. I got it wrong, but they're all there in his title. So just let me know, guys. What did you guys enjoy the most? Are you guys as happy about the exposure to these superstars, to the spotlight, the smaller superstars into the spotlight going into WrestleMania, or would you rather have your usual faces coming in? Um, just let me know. What are your thoughts? Who would you like to see at WrestleMania? When? Who do you think is gonna come out? What are your predictions for this? And then, as obvious, let's keep it moving. Let's keep talking about wrestling. And as always, guys, peace. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Simon Says Wrestling. Have yourselves a lovely one. Take care. And please, do try this at home.